I haven't made a video for a while because I'm a bit disheartened, to be honest. I give evidence at the Ballymurphy inquest. In conclusion, the judge says in her statement that she considered me a liar and that I was Soldier M. My lawyer, who was, as I was the only soldier not to be given an official Ministry of Defence lawyer, has since lost his job in the company he worked for, a personal friend of mine. Another friend who helped me with paperwork has had his computer wiped out, like I have. Why attack me? Why attack people that help me if I'm a liar? Or is someone trying to hide the truth? I'll just put a photograph on for you of somebody that I admire. He stood up against the system. When the press is controlled by the state, there's no such thing as freedom of speech. Anybody who goes against the system is an outcast. I am proud to be an outcast, like this man in the photograph. I took the following photograph prior to the day of internment. It is, in modern day terms, an improvised explosive device, but in 1971 it was just called a car bomb. The IRA had jumped on the bandwagon of the civil rights movement, and with support of Southern Ireland and America, they actually declared war on the British to kick the British out of Northern Ireland. And this is the after effect of a car bomb. Can't recognize the car, a lot of explosive. I took the photograph on White Rock Road, which separates the Catholic cemetery and Ballymurphy. I think it was the last car bomb they used near Ballymurphy because it damaged a few windows in Ballymurphy. But nobody was killed or injured because the IRA, known to the local populace, ran round and informed everybody that they just planted a car bomb. So all the Catholics knew about it, the church knew about it, the Catholic Church, the priests, the children, all got told to stay away from White Rock Road. A phone call was made, but we were late getting there, so it didn't kill any soldiers. And the photograph shows Major Jenkins, my commanding officer, and Sergeant Major Piggy MacDonald going over what was left of the car bomb. Many people forget the reason for the day of internment was because of the many car bombs exploding all over Northern Ireland. So internment was introduced to try and stop the IRA planting their car bombs. The judge at the Ballymurphy inquest was a clever woman. She had two options: condemn the army or spend the rest of her life looking under a car for a car bomb. What would you have done? Justice Keegan made the families of those who got killed on the day of internment, the IRA and the political wing Sinn Féin, very happy people by condemning the British Army. It was important to note how the British press reacted before the inquest of Ballymurphy. making programs, newspaper reports, condemning British soldiers even before the inquest. We were found guilty before the inquest. And the only evidence was what was presented by the families, the Nationalists, the IRA, and Sinn Féin. They didn't interview me. That was for sure, because I would have painted a different picture. So the press were complicit in the condemning the British Army, and especially the Parachute Regiment and 2 Para. I'm just going to add on some photographs now. The families want revenge and they want so-called justice. They want soldiers prosecuted. But I've contacted Judge Justice Keegan and the Ministry of Defence since the inquest, pointing out where they've got things wrong. But both parties are very happy with the outcome of the inquest, even the British Army and the Parachute Regiment. Why? Because no officer is going to get prosecuted. The families want soldiers prosecuted, but it's not going to happen, because I'll just point out the glaring fault in the evidence. But first of all, let me put you, the families called paratroopers cowards. The same soldiers that fought in the Falkland Islands, many of my mates fought in the Falkland Islands, and some died there, fighting, attacking a defensive position such as Goose Green, where the defenders had superior weapons, dug in and attacked by a small band of paratroopers, and the paratroopers defeated them, and the lads were injured, wounded, and many died. So to call us cowards and murdering bastards, there's the press saying on one hand how brave we were, and now they have the cheek to condemn us for what they say is the Ballymurphy massacre. But I'm just going to put you right on that picture. But just have a look at the photographs first. And brave men of 2 Para, the first off the landing craft attacking in the Falkland Islands. 2 Para, not Royal Marines, 2 Para. And then on to Goose Green to defeat an enemy dug in with superior weapon power, artillery and jets. And 2 Para won again, although many was wounded and some killed. The picture shows the paratroopers that were killed in the Falkland Islands. Heroes, not cowards, not bastards. The backbone of the British Army, 2 Para. Justin Keegan came to the conclusion that Joan Connolly, Daniel Taggart, Joseph Murphy, and importantly Noel Phillips were all shot from the Ballymurphy Hall, the Henry Taggart Hall. All right, I treated them 4 people. They were brought in to me. Now, I will confirm that Joan Connolly was definitely shot by the army. Half her head was missing. Now, this was an inquest of how these people died. And the judge, Keegan, stopped me from describing the wounds. It's a fucking inquest. Why am I not allowed to describe the wounds? Because the truth is hidden in the wounds. Okay, let's go back. Joan Connolly, killed by the army for sure. 7.62, half a head gone. She died straight away. You don't lose half your head and you're shouting for help, right? Especially when part of your mouth's gone and your jaw. Shot in the thigh, massive wound in the thigh, and shot in the thumb, which didn't kill her. I really feel sorry for her, but she shouldn't have been there. Her children were not children. One of them married a soldier. What was she doing there? Walking the dog? Looking for her children to see. The fighting had been going on from 6 o'clock in the bloody morning. Why didn't she get her children in the house then? Why wait till the evening to go looking for the children? Anyway, that's Joan Connolly. Daniel Taggart, he was shot to hell. Jesus wept. His lungs were hanging out his back. I'm saying, I was a medic, not a doctor, and I had to use my common sense. I pushed his lungs back in his chest, the back of his chest, and put an airtight dressing on and got him breathing, so he was a lot more comfortable. Bullet holes everywhere. I used loads of shell dressings on his bullet holes in his legs and arms. He told me he was hiding behind a tree, and that's why most of the bullets hit his arms and legs, right? Joseph Murphy, a very angry man. He didn't want to talk, he didn't want to say anything, but you know somebody's angry. He wouldn't talk, he wouldn't say anything. Shot one bullet hole in the thigh. Now, at the inquest, they're trying to say that I shot him on a second time and beat him up as he was lying there wounded. But that was proved by the experts as false, so nobody's pushed that anymore. Now, Noel Phillips is the one. Noel Phillips. The experts, now this is where any ex-soldier, you listen to me now. The experts, all these professors and doctors, say he was shot through the neck with a British 9mm round, and then shot from the other side at close range from a British 9mm round. And part of the round from one of the bullets went down into his stomach, where they found a trace of a 9mm British round. Right. At the first Ballymurphy inquest, it was stated he was hit with a shotgun pellet. How big's a shotgun pellet? Very small, very small. But a 9mm round is pretty big. There's a big difference between a shotgun pellet and a 9mm round. So the conclusion was he was also shot in the arm and he was also shot in the ass. This is what these experts give evidence. Right. I was on the Rangers and I had a 9mm Browning pistol. And I was the only member of B Company 2 Para with a 9mm weapon. At the Rangers, I fired at a flak jacket, and the 9mm round went in and out the flak jacket, so both layers of the flak jacket. Now, these experts are saying that he was shot at close range, right, with a 9mm. Now, if I shot you in the neck with a 9mm submachine gun, 9mm or Browning, the bullet would go in and out. There's no way you can go to one side and shoot a bullet, then go to the other side and shoot a bullet at night, and they're both parallel. Right. This is where the evidence is totally stupid, what these experts give, right? I spoke to Noel Phillips. He was totally conscious. I says, I saw the bullet holes in the neck. I says, are you shot anywhere else? He says, no. I never even saw a bullet hole in his arm. It must have been that small. And his arse, I didn't want to turn him over because of his neck. But he said he didn't have any other injury, so I believed him. He didn't die straight away, because I remember watching News at 10 with him, and he was still alive at 10 o'clock at night. So they said he died early and he quickly died. Load of bollocks. Right. I've been to the ranges a number of times in Thailand, and I've fired at animal flesh. And I assure you, a 9mm Browning will go in and out the other side. So the conclusion of these experts that he was fired at close range on purpose, and even some IRA nationalists turned around and said that was the typical British Army method of execution. Please tell me one other person that was shot in the neck like that. Okay, so eventually the priest went round and he came back running to me and says, Nigel, he stopped breathing. I think Noel Phillips is dead. So I dragged him off the bed and I give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation for 10 minutes. Now, if the bullet had gone in his larynx, right, when I breathed in, the air would have come out. But it didn't. And I gave mouth-to-mouth for 10 minutes. His chest was going up and down, so the air wasn't coming out of the nearest exit, which would have been the 2 bullet wounds in his neck. It never hit bone, the bullets, because he had movement. So he wasn't paralyzed in any way. So the next bit of information I want to give you is the judge says he was killed from the Henry Taggart Hall, soldiers in the Henry Taggart Hall. A fighting patrol went out and brought them in to me. So I treated them. I was the only soldier in B Company 2 Para with a 9mm weapon, a Browning 9mm. I have umpteen witnesses that I never went out to collect the wounded. They were brought into me. Noel Phillips was brought into me already shot. So, in the conclusion, he was shot as he ran in front of an IRA gunman shooting at the Henry Taggart Hall. So, all these innocent civilians, there was a gunman amongst them. That is the conclusion, the true conclusion, that they were not innocent civilians. There was armed people in the group attacking the gate in the Henry Taggart Hall. And I rest my case. Anybody can come up with it and prove me wrong. So the total outcome of what Justice Kagan has stated is false. Totally false. An officer, Lieutenant John Easton, a good friend of mine, took out the fighting patrol. He was also the officer that ordered his men to fire at the group that was attacking the front gate. I'll put a picture of John Easton on. They can't prosecute John Easton because he's dead. And he was a gentle giant, a kindergarten teacher before he joined the army. And he wasn't a Sandhurst officer, he was a Mons officer. And he was one of my best friends, which we kept secret from the officers. So that is my conclusion. Please write in the comments and prove me wrong. The whole exercise of the Ballymurphy inquest was to appease the IRA and the families. There was no innocent civilians on that field on the day of internment. But to stop the trouble starting again, the British government, with the help of the press, decided to condemn the army and appease the IRA. You Protestants are being sold down the river. The press is now saying, oh, you're all in agreement for a united Ireland. Watch what the press say. This is what the government are saying at the back. Do you want the IRA and Sinn Féin to govern you? I don't. This is my friend Lieutenant John Easton, a gentle giant who wouldn't kill anybody without provocation. Justice Kagan has received her 30 pieces of silver.